Hello, everyone, and welcome to Coffee Fusion. Sorry for the glitch and sorry for the delay. We were having some issues with the live stream, but we're finally here, and we have Ishan back with us. And it's been a really rough day, for footballing world. Lionel Messi is finally leaving Barcelona. Liverpool just had a preseason, an awesome preseason game as well, but unfortunately, we won't be talking about it in this particular video. We'll just straight away, just talking about Lionel Messi, Barcelona, La Liga as a whole, football league at the moment, what's going to happen, and along with that, we're also going to talk about how the situation of Lionel Messi, the wages, the financial debt that Barcelona has incurred, is also going to be affecting a few clubs who are spending very, very freely at the moment, right, Ishan?
Yes, absolutely.
Which is,
So, I mean, if you're looking at the whole Messi situation, I mean, it's pretty grim to be really, really honest. And I feel that, I mean, no matter, I mean, he's one of the greatest players ever to have set foot on the pitch. But even if he's just a club legend, you wouldn't want a player of his caliber, his status at the club, as well as the whole game in general, be given a sent off like that, under those kind of circumstances. It's not that he's not ready for a pay cut. It's not that it's something he can't do anything about. And even if you like, there were a lot of people who were saying on Twitter, especially, that if he loves the club so much, why doesn't he play for free? Because it's something which he can't do. Because one, why should anybody play for free? I mean, you're utilizing their talent, their services. So yeah, one is that, and second is the more technical and legal perspective to it. That in Spain you can't have a new contract which will give somebody more than 50% of a wage cut. So yeah, that is another point which, like, we have to keep in mind, that more than 50% wage cut you can't give to anybody in Spain. That's not allowed. So yeah, that is one thing. But yeah, I mean, it's an extremely sad day to see Messi uh, trying like that. I mean, and there is nothing in his hand which he can do, and it's just the whole accumulation of the last 10 years of the board and their wrongdoings, which is happening, and it has just resulted in Messi leaving.
Yeah, exactly. And do you feel that Messi could have got his deal done away in the last year? I mean, there was a lot of issues with Bartomeu as well, right? So he could have gone last year as well, but then Barcelona could have got 700 million in exchange, but now he's leaving for free. So that's
And
again an issue.
of course, I think the whole thing is, which I think Barcelona would have thought at that point of time, is that whether letting go of Messi and getting X amount of money, whether it's from City or PSG, is that good enough, or to retain Messi and get those results going their way? Because I mean, it's very obvious to see that without Messi, Barca, the current team of Barca, is nothing. It's absolutely, it does not perform. So it's either that, and of course, on top of that, like the amount of jersey sales and the amount of just the branding image and the branding rights, the kind of money that generates for Barca is humongous. Is humongous. So I mean, Barca took a call, and I mean, of course, as you said, Messi could have left last season as well. But I guess once you're at a club where for more than like 10, 12 years, and he's been there, last year he would have been 20 years at the club. So it's tough, man. I mean, I'm sure it's tough to just get that thing going, that, okay, I have to leave now, because you have been, since your child, as a 15, 16-year-old, you are there, and now you are thinking that, what would I do? It's something like, once you are working, or once you leave school or college or whatever, that vulnerability of change is there. So that is something which I think just made Messi gave into it, the whole thing, and staying at Barca another season.
That's true. In fact, I'll be really emotional right now, but I think Ayush Lala over here in the comment section is very drunk, and God knows what he's posting. The Salah is greater than Messi. Keita is the best. And my God, Ayush, like it's not. We're not really. This is I think the first podcast we're not discussing Liverpool at all. To be really honest with you, maybe we'll discuss it in the later phase when we talk about
Yeah,
other clubs for sure.
yeah.
But I
But
was
yes,
supposed to be a very
Ayush,
emotional moment for me.
I'll agree that Kita is fucking amazing. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the preseason game, yes, yes,
Yeah,
we obviously enjoyed it. It was very very nice to see our
yeah,
players coming back. So let's come back to Messi again, Ishan. So he's been at the club like what 21 years now, right?
yeah,
And he signed in as wow, as like literally he was a kid when he signed on
yeah,
for the club, and the way it everything was handled, the way Barcelona screwed up with the wages, the way Suarez left. Their signs were always there. They made some really shitty signings. Not shitty. The players were obviously quality, but the amount they spent for Griezmann,
yeah,
Coutinho, uh, even Luis, no, not Luis Suarez, sorry, Osman Dembele. So
yeah,
all these signings they didn't were as good as say maybe Neymar, maybe Javier Mascherano, and other signings that they had made previously. There was something that
yeah.
was going wrong with the club, and La Liga coming in and putting that ban on the wages and the investment that they have made, and it kind of screwed them up really bad, didn't it?
Oh, of course, of course. I think what the board was actually thinking while getting all these fancy players is that it's like playing FIFA, right? Like you buy whatever you want. Till the time the controller is in your hands, I mean, you can make them do whatever you want to.
Yeah,
So the fit in the system, which player is good for the dressing room, which player is good for the whole mental state of the club and the players, which player is a good fit in the team for the manager at that point of time. All of these things have to be taken care of. And for this absolute reason, there are sporting directors, director of footballs, whatever you want to call them. Like,
yeah.
you have Tiki Bergistian at City, who was at Barcelona
Yeah,
before.
exactly. So he went to City after Barcelona, so that's one other thing.
Yeah, and that was one of the first moves of Bartomeu, and I mean, it was a very, very bad move. And I mean, I don't know whether a lot of people know this or not, but Bergistian is a very, very iconic player from Barca, and he has a lot of pull over there. And there's a lot of which goes behind the scenes, which actually keeps the club together. And since Bartomeu came into the whole scene, it's just it was just like a walking disaster. Like one step, the wrong, another wrong, another wrong. It's just a cascading events which just culminated in Messi leaving today. So yeah, I mean, as you said, like you have Griezmann, you have Coutinho, you have Dembele, you have Pjanic, you have like I'll even say Semedo, even, and there are loads and loads of other signings which they made. Oh, Malcolm, I can't forget Malcolm. That was I don't know what they did with Malcolm. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it was crazy. Like not only were the transfer fees really, really, really pathetic, but it was also the wages, the sign-on fees, the agent fees. All of that was like so inflated, and
Hmm.
they were just thinking that whether if we'll assemble like a Galacticos kind of a squad, which Madrid did, and it'll just function purely based on the individual quality of a player, which sadly does not happen. And even with the Galacticos, we saw that I mean, they won, but that was also because the Galacticos were bought with the approval of the manager Del Bosque at that point of time. And over here, there was no vision, nothing. I mean, they got Valverde, and his system is totally different to what style Barca plays, and then he was trying to shoehorn one player or the other. So it was, I mean, Bartomeu's reign in the past 10 years was just a shit show from
Yeah.
start to end.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Look, honestly, I mean, obviously, we laugh at Barcelona. We make fun of them for, as a club, because they have taken so many players from us, and it kind of hurts till now, because we could have been at completely different level if these clubs were not there, were like literally feeding off our players. And apart from, obviously, they also had these cocky fans who were on cloud nine for decades. To be really honest, for last couple
Yeah,
of decades, they have been on cloud nine.
yeah,
They never saw it forthcoming, because whatever they did, whatever however they've behaved, as fans, it was all about getting those huge signings, getting those big names, without considering the long term success of the club, without considering the finances and the future of the club. Because Barcelona, unlike other clubs, also works very differently, right? The people get to
yeah,
choose there. So
yeah,
it's altogether a completely different ball game at Barcelona, and the rivalry against Madrid is definitely on. But then again, these two clubs are literally struggling. One of the reasons why the Super League was proposed by Perez, that because they wanted to get out of the mess which they dug themselves into, which is really stupid of the Premier League teams to even join it, to be really honest, because they had
yeah,
that opportunity to see them go down, right?
yeah.
So, Arjun, other clubs should actually look at how the mismanagements went down at Barca. Yeah, we're gonna get onto that. Right now, we're just focusing our on all energy on Messi at the moment, because we will come back to all other clubs, including the PSGs and Man Cities, who have been screwing up with their wages and everything, and we're
Yeah.
gonna talk about that for sure. So right now, Messi, it's like completely official, right? We were still thinking that it's a complete a shit show. Maybe it's a like a TV series or something, that he'll come back to
Yeah,
Barca, sign, something will happen. I was on an impression maybe the Spanish courts will waive off some type of Barca. Maybe La Liga will make an exception because it's Lionel Messi, right? But
yeah.
now Messi and Ronaldo, they both are not there. What's the future for La Liga?
I feel that, I mean, La Liga will recover. I mean, not this season. It will take some time, but like in a couple of years, they will recover, in my opinion. The good thing to see with respect to La Liga is that it's no longer just Real Madrid and Barca. Like you can see Sevilla and Atletico getting stronger day by day, and we saw Atletico win the La Liga title last season, which was pretty great. Like and they were and I really liked how Simeone kind of changed his style as well, even though he reverted back to his defensive style. But the kind of flexibility which he's trying to get into the squad, and how he is now getting more attack minded players, like Rodrigo de Paul is now there, and I mean Felix is there. I mean it's going to be a really interesting season overall, if you see, because after a long time it's not going to be like a two horse race, which it usually is. And I mean, if from what I mean, we're hearing, like if Sevilla are gonna sign Kabak, if Kunde goes away, which he's being linked to Chelsea, and if that happens, and there's the kind of quality which La Liga is trying to maintain and keep up with. So I think, I mean, this season, of course, I mean, the viewership will go down for sure. Like it's gonna be like an all time low for sure. But I'm hoping that probably in a couple of years it'll get better. And I'm also sure, because now that Laporta is back at Barca, and Laporta is always kind of. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for this.
It's okay. It's okay. I think he's more excited to talk about Messi.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, every time Laporta comes, Laporta has his own style, and last time he came on the Barca board, he got Ronaldinho. So I'm sure he'll make some signings, but before that, he has to clear out all the wrongdoings of the previous board, and which will let at least take him a season's time. So yeah, I mean it's gonna come back soon, but not for this season. Like this season will be like one of the poorest viewership and revenue wise for La Liga, in my opinion.
Definitely, I think they had already done that. They have already given signs before as well, before Messi left, that they'll have. those the TV rights through Facebook and other channels as well. So they were also planning about playing La Liga in a different country altogether. So I
Yeah,
think that
different continent. Like they were
yeah,
planning like Saudi Arabia, US, games everywhere. So
exactly.
I mean that's the only way they could probably generate viewership, or rather keep hold of the viewers essentially.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
if you see Premier League is due to its the competitiveness and the money which is there in the Premier League, everybody wants to go there. And a small thing which is also there, that the kind of quality of managers in the Premier League is also uh, like getting better day by day. You have Klopp, you
Yeah,
have Pep, you have Bielsa, and it's just getting better day by day. And there are a lot of young managers also coming. You have Graham Potter, which is doing really really well right now
yeah.
at Brighton. And yeah, I just hope that La Liga gets back within a couple of years.
Yeah, definitely for all the football fans and someone who really loves football, I think that's a very, very important factor that football for them comes back as it was. So you do feel bad for like Barcelona fans and Messi's fans all together, who like genuine fans, right? Who literally
Yeah,
worship the player and who does just didn't go to the club because of him, but he kind of meant something to them. So
yeah,
it's a very, very so we're just going to talk about this a very, very short file. So when Messi signed off, like it obviously wasn't that he wanted to leave, right? It was like
yeah,
it's a forced one and something that
yeah,
even Barcelona could not control.
yeah,
And it's not the goodbye that we expected. It's not, he wasn't even there in the stadium, the fans were not there in the stadium. I certainly hope that maybe he could just extend maybe for 6 months so he get that send off maybe in January maybe.
yeah,
So that was also not possible. I obviously don't know what the reason was, but that was out of any kind of possibilities too. So that's just unfortunate. You don't see want to see a legend like Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo to get a send off like that.
yeah,
No matter from which club you support, because
yeah,
if you're
absolutely.
if you're a football fan, you have just appreciate that guy and what he brings. And we are lucky to be in that particular era that we can see
Yeah,
Lionel Messi, if not in the stadium, at least on our televisions live, right?
yeah. I think we are one of the luckiest generations. We can see Messi and Cristiano both, and at their peaks. We have had our Pelés, we have had our Maradonas, all in different generations. But we have had the luxury of watching two of the greatest footballers ever at the same point of time go head to head for almost 7 8 years, back to back. So it's great. And I think how probably we Liverpool fans would have felt when Gerrard was leaving. I'm sure like Barca fans and the Messi fans would be feeling the same right now. And I mean, yeah, as you said before, that kind of there was a feeling of cloud nine per se on the fans, because when you have the best player in the world playing for your favorite team, you would feel that. But then again, it just came to a very very bad halt, and not the way like anyone for the matter of fact would have imagined.
Yeah, that's true. We have a post from Vishal here. So Ishan is for you. So Messi and Barcelona, all of a sudden, things happened, and Suarez also like was released.
Yeah.
So is it just the fault of the management, or is it because of the new coach? I
Uh,
mean, Ronald Koeman demanded Suarez
I,
getting out.
I, I, it's a mixture of both, in my opinion. Um I think Suarez at the very, very top level just had one season left in him when he left Barca, because you could see from his detailed, if you go like in depth in his stats, that he was doing lesser number of sprints, his finishing was going down, and his movement was still there, but it was kind of like, because of the acceleration going down, sprints going down, he was not able to like have that, you know. pinpoint accuracy in his runs, and pressing was of course going down. So I think it was a calculated risk from Barcelona, because also because he was at extremely high wages. And I feel that this again comes down to the Barcelona board and Bartomeu in particular, because I think once a player of Suarez or Messi's caliber has, been at a club for so many years, for 6 7 years, and you have, that dynamic, the not only on the field but off the field dynamic with Messi is so strong, you should not let go of a player like that. I mean, if amicably you let go of him, that's fine, but not in the way you let Suarez go. And one of the prime reasons of letting Suarez go was because his salary was too high, and they felt that because the contract is coming to an end, and there is no point in renewing because the salary is so high. But my question to the board is very simple. It's like, rather take out the deadwood which you have. Like, you have a player who's permanently injured in Umtiti. Okay, I don't remember when was the last time he played a game for Barcelona, or for that matter was just fit, and the outrageous amount of wages he's on. Or even the same for, like, you can say the same for Dembele,
Coutinho.
and of course Coutinho. I mean, the
They just
only
bought him like just to show off, or maybe to sell some
yes,
T-shirts. That's about
absolutely,
it.
absolutely. Like, Coutinho
There was
was
no
just
plan. There was no plan there, right? I mean, they
no,
were
no plan,
trying
no
to
plan.
replace maybe Iniesta
Yeah,
or Neymar maybe, but it just completely flopped. And they just thought that spending on 150 million on some random player, or no, not random player, obviously a world class player, but it just didn't work out because there was just absolutely no plan. They were completely relying on what they had.
yeah. So again, like, it's very 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 poor management. And I mean, buying a player, I mean, you can get players for like free, you can get players for 150 million, but you get them with a set plan to integrate them into the team, right? And you have a specific role for them to play.
True.
And as soon as Coutinho came, and it was very very clear for everybody to see that this is not his natural role, and he's
Yeah.
just being forcefully put into playing that kind of role. And you
Exactly.
see that it's not happening for him. It wasn't happening for him on the pitch.
Hmm.
And of course, I feel somewhere the 150 million tag, or the transfer fee tag, was also weighing him down, because the media was pushing him that 150 million player, and he's not performing, the goals are not coming. And due to the fact that in the last 1 year of Coutinho's departure, the Barca board, players, the Spanish media, everybody was openly flirting with Coutinho coming to Barca. And
Yeah.
that just builds it up in the head of the player, as well as the fans, because you are increasing the expectations from the player.
Yeah.
So now you have got a player who has been finally gotten in for 150 million, and all of a sudden he has so much pressure, and he's not been able to mentally be present in that game. Like, this is something which, I mean, we Liverpool fans can kind of relate with Van Dijk. We were openly flirting with Van Dijk, even apologized for that matter to
Yeah.
Southampton and FA.
Yeah.
But that is Van Dijk. He has that mental setup. He's so strong mentally that he came and he started delivering
True.
right right from his first
Yes,
game.
there were a few questions raised in the media as well that Coutinho is not level-headed, and he cannot take I think pressure or anything.
Yeah,
It basically affects him when someone talks about him, or someone kind of demotivates him
absolutely,
or something like that. So he's not
absolutely.
thick-skinned, and that was those were the words used by the media at that point of time.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, again, it's different players react to things differently. Like, Coutinho is one of those players, who wants to feel loved at a club. He
Yeah,
wants,
exactly.
you know, the fans, the manager, to like actually tell him that yes, you are important and you are loved here, etc., etc. And once you have like all that pressure of not performing, that transfer fee, and now you are just in the shadow of all these big stars, whether it's Messi, whether it's Griezmann, or whether it's Ter Stegen, whether it's PK, or whosoever it is, or Busquets. I mean, you just don't know. You are like lost, because it's all of a sudden you are at such a big level, and you're kind of lost, and you don't know what to do. And also because it's a new place, new country, everything is new for you, and you don't have anybody to talk to. And all the things behind the scenes get so difficult for players when they move. It's really tough for them. And I mean, also because the fact the media wasn't supporting him once his form started dipping. I mean, it was just a matter of time that
Yeah.
he was fall off with
Yeah.
respect to the
Yeah.
whole club.
That's true. That's true. I think there were a lot of bits and pieces here and there. There was a lot of things that were not coming in place for Coutinho, and that's how it was. I think I also saw, since I'm back on Twitter again. I saw a lot of tweets about people asking to get rid of the deadwood that has been there,
Mm,
which has been injured. Feeding off the club's money and keeping Messi. So I think there were a lot of players who were named like Umtiti, Griezmann, Coutinho, and a couple of others. And
yeah.
fans were like, you why don't you just sell these four players out, and why don't you just keep Messi?
Yeah. I mean, see, the biggest point is that if either of the four players which you mentioned right now, if even one would have been transferred last season, uh, you would have had a way better, wage bill. Apart from that, you would have generated some amount from the transfer fee, which would have helped in the revenue to wage ratio. And all of a sudden, because of Barcelona's incompetence to move these players in the market, and they're at a situation where even a 50% pay cut for Messi won't be able to keep him at the club, which is an extremely problematic situation, if you ask me. And to be really honest, like I another thing which I was also talking on Twitter about today was that there is Umtiti, there is Griezmann, there is your what's his name, Pjanic, your Lenglet, your Dembele. All
Mhm.
these five six players, they have not been performing at all, and they are like on shit huge wages, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, they
and
are.
I mean, Griezmann is at 800,000 per week. That is obnoxious wages. Okay, and I'm sure when Griezmann was coming from Atletico to Barcelona, one of the reasons definitely would have been to play alongside Messi. And you know, if all these players would have taken, say, a 15-20% wage cut this season and agreed to like all the same terms in the contract, all everything same, but just the 20% wage cut, the whole wage bill would have been better. And it could have been like say, like it might have somehow or the other, like given some scope for Messi to stay. So
Understood.
but even these players, they just showed like they don't want a wage cut. I mean, it is something which you show, wherein you show your camaraderie within the team, and it's not just me all the time. So yeah, I feel that is something which the other players could have stood up for and tried to help the whole situation out, especially keeping in mind that how Messi in himself is such an integral part of the whole Barcelona ethics since the past 2 decades or so.
They needed to get their priorities straight. I think that's the way to
Yeah,
sum it up, I guess. So they were like counting more quantity than quality, and
yeah,
that's where they screwed up. And it was, I think, it just shows how kind of the kind of mismanagement there is, because you, if you can't take that kind of decision, if you can't take those harsh decisions, and to be honest, not it wasn't that harsh of a decision as well, right? Because you just
yeah.
know that what your priority is, and your priority has to be Messi for any other club. One of the reasons, and he, because he also brings in the revenue that
Yeah.
he gets from your club and to the entire league. To be honest, one of the
Yeah.
reasons also we are questioning right now the future of La Liga is for the very same reason, because we are quite unsure ourselves that if it will be able to generate the kind of revenue it has for the past years, for the past decade, in fact, when
Yeah.
Ronaldo was also here. But it seems highly unlikely. There's going to be a miracle. It's going to take a miracle for them to come back to where they were before. So
Yeah.
Vishal has another question that फिर big players को manage करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. Is there any other example जिनके साथ भी ऐसा हुआ है? Bro, I think Sir Alex Ferguson is a perfect example in this particular era. Obviously, we can also talk about Bob Paisley and Bill Shankly for that matter, because we also signed quite good players at that point of time.
Yeah.
And in fact, even um, you know, Pochettino, for that matter, has had his share of managing players, not superstars, but also not winning a trophy and keeping those players without selling them to any other club. So that also takes a
Yeah.
lot of guts,
Yeah.
to be honest. And I mean, from our side, the recent one would have been King Kenny. He also took in a lot of level players, and he has had that kind of experience with him as well. So let's just take one example. Sir Alex Ferguson की अगर बात करते हैं, क्योंकि I think a lot of people could relate to that era. So आप जब आपके पास वैन निस्टेल रॉय, क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो, रूनी, बैकम जैसे प्लेयर्स होते हैं ना बॉस, तो it is obviously difficult, right? And one of the reasons that David Beckham was let go, because his ego was becoming a lot more in the club, in the dressing room, and that is something that Sir Alex Ferguson also admitted. I think he admitted that in an interview or his book. I'm not quite sure exactly. So that's how
And
it went, Vishal
I,
bhai, and yeah,
I think with respect to like the Ferguson thing, I feel that he sold Beckham at absolutely the right time.
right, exactly, exactly,
Like, his value was at its peak.
yeah,
He had done enough for United to earn the legendary status,
true.
and while doing so, uh, he had elevated the commercial status of United to the next level. Like with respect to everything he did, like his looks, he got deals
His
with like
hairstyle, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
His
mean, he got
movies,
deals
his
with the top
films,
everything. His ads. He got married to Posh Spice, which was like one of the biggest girl bands in the world, and had a huge American following, which got the American fans for United. And it's,
yeah,
I mean, he did everything which he had to for United, and Ferguson realized that now, as a player, he wasn't needed much. I mean, of course, they could have utilized him if they wanted, but his ego, the kind of money which Real Madrid was offering with respect to fees and wages, they wouldn't want to say no to that and can't match the wages. So they just sold him and just reinvested in the squad. So yeah, I mean, handling big names is really, really tough. I mean, I don't know whether a lot of people have seen the earlier 2000s when Vicente Del Bosque was managing Real Madrid, or when Fabio Capello was there, and Florentino Perez was buying one Galactico after the other, and it was insane. Like you had uh, Ronaldo, the El Fenomeno, he was there. Zidane was there. Robinho was there. Raúl was there. I
oh,
mean,
yes,
Guti was there. I mean, there were like insane talent at Real Madrid at that point of time, and you know it was so tough. Whom are you gonna mix it? Are you gonna sit bench Ronaldo, or are you gonna bench Raúl? It was that tough a decision
yeah.
for Del Bosque at that point of time, but he did extremely well, and he made them win a lot of La Ligas. Although I think the Champions League eluded him at that point of time, and then he went to manage the Spanish national team.
Yeah,
And I feel another thing, like with respect to like just players, as Vishal bhai asked, that this is a very, very unique situation which I don't think has kind of happened before as such, because the stature of the player, the stature of the club, and the whole situation with respect to the financial fair play ruling is so unique that it was like whatever the board and Messi, these two parties in isolation could do, they tried. but
Mm.
the whole wage bill was so basically I'll just give everybody a gist of what actually went wrong with respect to the financial numbers. So the revenue to the wages ratio at Barca was 115%.
Yeah.
That means their wages were 15% more than their revenue,
Mm.
which leads to debt basically. So even after taking a 50% wage cut, that percentage of revenue to wages was down to 93%. And according to the relaxed rules of La Liga wanted that percentage to come down to 75%. So there was still a gap of 18%. And that 18% couldn't have come down because you can't reduce Messi's wages further because of the Spanish law. And it was crazy. Oh yeah, we this is one of the most important graphics I feel. So
Yeah.
I mean, I won't say anything about Frankie De Jong, uh, purely and purely because he is their future. He is everything. Which he should be the centerpiece of Barcelona's revival, and he's worth every penny which they spent on him because he's a generational talent, like insane talent. But yeah, you can see the other players over there, like Griezmann never suited Barca's style. No point. Busquets, another legend, you can't touch him. PK, another legend, don't touch him. Dembele's stupidity to keep him for such a long amount of time. Then I still don't know what happened with the Pjanic Arthur swap deal. I mean, it was just mind blowing stupidness from the Barcelona board. And then there is Umtiti, there's Sergi Roberto, there's Jordi Alba, there's Rafinha, there's Coutinho. Oh yeah, they have Trincao as well. Wow, Elenia. Elenia was on loan, I think, but I think he came back. So yeah, I mean,
The,
we can just see the kind of wages all of these people are like right from Ter Stegen and up. I mean, it's really crazy. And to
right.
think of Ter Stegen is one of the most like one of the best goalkeepers right now in the world, and
Yeah.
he's underpaid over him.
He's
I mean,
literally underpaid right now, and in fact, you look at Braithwaite, and God knows why they made that signing. And I
oh
think I
yeah,
think one of the reasons I hate Barcelona is for this very reason, the way they
yeah.
made that particular signing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like
Yeah,
it was
shameful.
really, really unethical. Very, very shameful. Like I mean, Braithwaite was like one shining light for Levante that season, and he could have actually kept them up if things would have gone somewhat their
Yeah,
way. I mean,
yeah.
uh,
And
but
imagine the kind of amount that that club lost just because they got relegated.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean,
They're
it's not
pathetic.
only it's not only the amount. It's like they put a year's hard work in Liga Segunda to come up to La Liga. 1 year of hard work, or like
Yeah,
I don't know that they were in the La Liga before that season as well, or it could have been 2 or 3 years since they would have been in Segunda. All that hard work of X years, all the players which they got in from different clubs and kind of settled them in, and all of a sudden they're back relegated, and a lot of players would want to leave now, and all that momentum which Levante had got by coming into La Liga and assembling a good kind of squad, all of that goes out now. Apart from the financial loss, so I mean, you can say this is karma biting back at Barca, but yeah, it was pretty shameful how they got Braithwaite, of course.
yeah, exactly. I really wasn't impressed by Barcelona when that happened
Yeah,
because it was again Braithwaite. Okay, we can. It's a different topic, but they again Barcelona got away with it. Uh,
yeah,
so that's one of the reasons I've literally my hatred for them even went another level. Ter Stegen getting 100. I don't even know what to quote. 100,000. I just don't know what to say. Now
yeah,
the problem lies with right here. You have Griezmann on such a high wages. You have
yeah,
Dembele.
yeah.
You have God knows. Have you even seen him play like properly once in the Barcelona jersey? These two basically, right? So
Yeah.
I just don't know what they're on about because these kind of signings were made in very very recent years. When you talk about Griezmann, you talk about De Jong, Coutinho again, uh, Braithwaite. You have Umtiti as well. Like, if I
Yeah,
mean, I don't even remember the last time he played or for Barcelona,
yeah,
and that
absolutely. That's
has
what I'm
been an
saying.
issue.
Right. I mean, players like Umtiti, Dembele, these two players, I just can't remember when was the last time they played for Barcelona. I mean, uh, apart from that, I don't even remember when the last time they were fit. Leave apart playing. I mean, it. I mean, I totally understand that Dembele is a great talent when he's fit. He's absolutely a cracking player. But then, what to do if you are not fit enough? I mean, I understand that you are at high wages, but
Hmm.
there has to be a tipping point wherein you realize that okay, enough is enough, and you know we need to move this player on because he's no longer an asset. It's something like we Liverpool fans kind of talk about with respect to Naby Keita as well. Like how many more chances, how much more time do we have to actually give to Keita in order for him to be fit, etc., etc. But the good thing for Liverpool fans is that he's not at those kind of atrocious wages, and nor is he as injured as Dembele is. So
Yeah,
that's like something of a similar situation. Uh, and yeah, same about Ntiti. I don't know, like Ntiti has just regressed as a player year after year after the World Cup win, and
exactly.
I feel like they should have just terminated his contract last year and let him go wherever he wanted to go because nobody is going to pay those wages to these players. Nobody is going to pay, Griezmann 800,000 or Dembele somewhere around about I think he's at
Hmm.
500 or 600,000. So nobody's going to pay them. So again, to terminate such a contract is another issue. But then I feel somehow or the other you have to cut your losses and just you know cut it out or just loan them out, yeah, for like one
Yeah, I
season
mean,
and
it's
get some
no.
wages out of your bill.
Yeah, there's some common sense decisions that you make. You keep Lionel Messi, and you just get rid of the dead wood. I mean,
Yeah,
imagine if Jurgen Klopp talks about selling Salah and keeping, say, who I think,
Origi, Origi.
Origi, Minamino, or no disrespect to them. I'm just like, I'm just
Absolutely,
talking about
absolutely, yes.
contribution.
But
So
then I mean, it's just the kind of comparison we are just
yeah,
trying to make.
exactly,
Between,
exactly. So like,
Class and
or
Paul.
it's like keeping Origi, Minamino, Shaqiri, or even for that matter, Grujic, right? Of
Yeah,
players that rarely play for him these days, and players who he doesn't fancy too much for starting the game as well, right?
yeah,
So that's the whole point of it, right? That you need to just get your priorities straight, and there's no bigger priority than Lionel Messi. I don't know what's
yeah.
God knows what their management is, who they manage. I don't know if they are paying that guy a
No,
salary or not.
so there was another point I was discussing with Lala on Twitter today, and I actually said that it's such a big problem, the Barca board, that even the board members, the Soshis, okay, over the past 5 6 years, I mean, I'm sure all the Soshis were seeing whatever shit was going down behind the scenes. Is politics so important for all those Soshis that they went blind and not see the kind of financial mess they were in? Don't they have a finance team or like like a normal CA who can just see the books and tell them that we are headed in the wrong direction? I mean, it's so simple, and they were doing one mistake after the other, like getting all these players. Like okay, fine, I understood they made one big mistake with say Coutinho. Fine, put a stop. Why are you getting Griezmann as well? Or vice versa, whatever the order of the signings were. And you now have two players who don't suit the present manager's style, and you are playing them, trying to shoehorn in them into the team, and you have a bleeding wage bill. It's not going to work out. And look how it ended. You have sold your best player, the best ever player to grace the football pitch. He's gone, and
Yeah,
you can't do anything about it. So, and To be really, really honest, if you see the parallels between today and what was there when last time Laporta was the elected as the head of board, were very, very similar. Very, very similar. Barca was in a financial mess at that point of time. I'm talking about early 2000s. They were
Mm.
in a financial mess at that point of time,
Yeah,
so much so that they had a very, very huge debt. And what happened? Laporta came, and Laporta clearly in his agenda said that I'll get the top players, I'll get Barca back to its former glory. And he got another ex Barca, ex Milan player, Frank Rijkaard, as manager. And all of a sudden, things started going their way. They went back to La Masia to get their players, and in came Xavi, in came Iniesta, in came uh, Busquets. But I mean, Busquets wasn't gotten into the team straight away, but yeah, I mean, then later on, Pep got him into the starting lineup straight away. And all of a sudden, you have the fans behind you because you have local players with you in Xavi, Iniesta.
yeah,
Then Laporte made one big signing, and that is Ronaldinho, and that just changed the whole complex of what Barca could have achieved. And
yeah,
it just changed the whole dynamic of uh, La Liga, also not only Barca. So yeah, I mean, with Laporta, this season I'm sure they won't be buying any more players because somehow or the other now they'll be able to register Aguero and Depay.
yeah. That's
So
another topic again. So, like, not unfortunately, we won't be able to, discuss in detail about the Aguero
yeah,
situation and the poor guy. I mean, uh,
absolutely, man. I feel so bad for him as well.
this is one of the players that I would love to have in Liverpool. Aguero, Sergio Aguero. When he
Yeah,
signed for
and,
City, I was
and,
like,
and,
it's a
and
big
he's
love.
a boyhood Liverpool fan as well. I mean,
Yeah, and
yeah,
and yeah, and he was top quality. I was like shocked that we never went in for him, and that's
hmm,
just how it was, unfortunately for us. All right, so now moving on from Messi for a bit, we're going to talk about Arjun's finally the question. Others clubs should actually look how the mismanagement went down at Barca. Right.
yeah.
So, Ishan, do you think that other clubs care, or will they care, or they be on their feet right now and trying to figure out and manage the finances? Now, obviously, we all know which these clubs we're talking about. Talk about
Yeah.
Paris Saint Germain. We are talking about Real Madrid as well. Talking about
Great.
Manchester City,
Even
Manchester
Chelsea for that
United.
matter.
Yeah, exactly. So we're talking about all of these clubs and
Um,
who are in a financial mess at the moment, who are debt ridden, and also just can't stop signing multi-million deals.
yeah. So I feel with respect to City and PSG, it's just a matter of the new season starting. They'll just show that they have got renewed commercial deals from one of the sister companies or the owners, and it'll be back to normal.
Yeah, they have those illegal channels fueling in the money,
Yeah.
right?
Right? Like City has Etisalat for them, and so I mean, for these country-backed clubs, it's really tough to actually you know keep them in check unless and until like UEFA and FIFA both come together and actually say that okay, fine, enough is enough. Nothing of this shit is
But
now gonna
but
continue.
what is that enough? Like
It's, it's
it's
true.
been it's been a decade now. It's been a decade now.
More than a decade. Like if you see, like Chelsea was bought by Abramovich in
2003, right?
2003 and since then they have been spending non-stop. And only in
Crazy.
the past I think 4 years or so.
I think it has just been those transfer bans that they have not spent. Otherwise, they would have,
Even in the transfer bans, they got
yeah,
players
the
like Kovacic and Pulisic
Pulisic.
because the deals were done before that. So yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy because they have been spending for more than 15 years non-stop. The only good thing for Chelsea has been in the past 3-4 years that they have been posting a positive net spend because of the quality of academy players which they have and they have been selling and they
Yeah,
have been producing. They've always produced really, really, really great academy talents. Like, whether you wanna look at somebody like a Lamptey, you wanna look at uh, Christensen. I wouldn't say he's a great player, but he's a very good backup centre back for any team.
Yeah.
Who's
Now
trying
they
to.
are gonna sell Abraham and they're gonna make some good profit out of him as well.
Yeah, I mean, Abraham is being touted at 40 million for Atalanta, and I mean, 40 million is a pretty good amount
Wow.
for a player who's your, academy academy player. And they have already sold Tomori to AC Milan. They have sold Gehi to Crystal Palace, and another one of their right backs is almost done as a sale, Livermento. And I'm guessing even Loftus Cheek will be sold. So all of these, what do you say, like spending will amount to somewhere around about, I'm guessing, 60-65 million. So all of a sudden, 120 million of Lukaku doesn't seem bad because they're only spending 60-65. So,
Yeah.
that's how Chelsea are balancing their books. And I mean, great props to the Chelsea board to figure
Yeah.
out, and especially their previous sporting director, Michael Emenalo, who just changed the viewpoint of the whole Chelsea academy.
True, true. I think that's one issue there as well, because the issue is basically for us because they have these. So Chelsea has a they have a plan, right? Just producing more and more youngsters, giving them out on loan, seeing them how they perform. If they perform good enough, they can maybe get them off a few games in a season, then sell them off in the very next season. So make some good amount of profit in that. What about Man City and PSG?
Nothing is gonna happen to them, bro. I'll be really honest. Like, if anybody thinks that something is gonna happen to them, I highly doubt it's gonna happen because Nasir Al
They're
Khelaifi.
literally run by country and not owners, right? Not
Yeah,
businesses.
absolutely, absolutely. And these are oil companies, oil countries, sorry. And you can, if they feel like increasing the cost of
Sponsorship.
oil, they'll think like, okay, they just have to give a call to Saudis and the US guys, and okay, fine, we're increasing the cost. And I mean, they're one of the biggest exporters. I know it's not that easy to increase the barrel price of the oil, but then it's still in their hands because it's their resource. So it's extremely tough to bring them down. Also because of the Super League fiasco, Nasser Al Khelaifi's stance within the UEFA has become stronger. So I mean, I don't expect any kind of financial fair play implications done by UEFA on PSG at all. I mean, I mean, they can have Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi for 2 years, and I don't think anybody's gonna touch them.
So then, what's the future then for proper football? Like for clubs like say Liverpool, clubs like Tottenham, clubs like
Uh,
Southampton, clubs
to,
like
to, to
Atletico.
be, I mean, to be really honest, the past two seasons or so has kind of showed that with a good manager, with a good structure, good vision at the club, and of course the right recruitment, you can actually beat this whole this whole culture of just buying whosoever you want to and
Yeah,
just making a team of FIFA stars. So
definitely. It's always the players on the pitch that matter at the end of the day, irrespective of
yeah,
how much they cost.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, we saw last season, sorry, Atletico win the La Liga. We saw uh, Liverpool win the Premier League a season before the previous one. And then we saw Liverpool win the Champions League also before that. So we are
We
trying.
also saw Ajax coming really close to winning the Champions League, by the way.
Oh,
So Ajax
absolutely. Yes,
was,
yes.
yeah,
Even Ajax was there. I mean,
yeah,
even Tottenham was there for the matter of fact.
yes,
So,
yes.
I mean, we are seeing so many good clubs. Even I would also, like to mention Villarreal, who beat United last year in the Europa League final. Then there was Sevilla also, who have always been around there. Then we have the Atalantas also there. So, as I said, the right vision, the right kind of manager, and give them the right players which the manager wants and not which the owner wants.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
have a situation, you can have like a group of players who will perform and beat. all those big money players. I mean, we have seen a lot of times in the Premier League as well that if even a small team attacks City, City crumble. We have seen that every now and then. I mean, I categorically remember uh, last to last season when Norwich beat City. I mean, that was a highly entertaining game, and Norwich were, playing extremely well. So it's just that you find out the weaknesses of City, put a game plan, and just keep on playing. I mean, this
Yeah,
also holds
exactly.
for
And
PSG.
one of the reasons that they have been constantly dominating the opposition is because the opposition is always playing defensive. A lot
Yeah.
of just of if I can name the handful of games against Newcastle, against Crystal Palace, against Norwich B team, by the way, and
Hmm.
all the only thing that they did was they were very compact against them. Then they not only counter attacked, but they also press them properly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that kind of caused them a little bit of shocker that how are these teams like counter pressing us? Because
Yeah.
and to be very
Absolutely.
honest, Tottenham also for the past 2 to 3 seasons have given them a really tough competition.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's just that the teams who think that okay, fine, we're gonna sit back because it's better to lose 1-0 rather than get humiliated 4-5-0 by
Yeah,
City or
exactly.
PSG. And then we have the teams like Norwich who go out on the front foot and they try to take the games
They didn't
by
even have their starting 11. I forget 11. I think they had
yeah,
around eight players injured that time.
yeah. I mean, I really felt bad for Norwich and their supporters that season because they had a pretty decent squad, but it was just
Yeah.
that all of them were injured. Like so many of them were injured, and you know, the quality in the squad wasn't that high, and they were not financially that strong that they could like buy anyone they wanted to. So that costed them a bit, but then I mean they're back, so like great
Yeah.
props to Daniel Parker and his work. And
Yeah.
I mean, even with respect to PSG, we saw Lille win the League One last
Wow.
season, which was
Yes.
I mean,
My God.
nobody saw that coming.
No
Nobody
one.
saw that
No
coming,
one. No one.
and it was really surprising. And again, the kind of recruitment which Lille did, the kind of vision which the board had, the director of football had, and along with the manager's system, it all went as planned as it should go,
Mm,
and it was like everything was going
true.
as per their plan. And it was just that PSG were very cocky all the time, and they were like very, very, you know, they just were not ready to think that okay, fine, any other club can overtake us at least in the league. And
Yeah.
Lille was really, really, really good.
Yeah, there were, and in fact, there was one club we're not even talking about here, and that's Bayern Munich. And I think
Oh
one of
yeah,
the major reasons that we're not talking about them is because unlike PSG and Man City, they have not, they I think they pick and choose their own players, and they go on a spending spree at the same time, yes, but
yeah,
they think a lot and long and hard about what kind of player that they want, because they even bought in Coutinho, and there were signs that they're gonna buy off Coutinho from Barcelona, but I think something happened and they refused because they went haywire when they signed Coutinho. They, they went to the
I
stores. They
I,
had
I
those
think
events with him.
I think with respect to Bayern are very clear in one thing, and that has always been that they will always promote their academy players, always, and they have always done that since at least I have started watching football. And whether it's Lam, whether it's Muller, whether it's
Kimmich.
Kimmich, yes, Kimmich, and I mean they have always promoted their academy players. And another thing which I mean if there is a Bayern supporters would love it, but as a neutral and somebody who has a soft spot for Dortmund, I don't like it. But Bayern directly buys from its rivals. They
Yes.
have they have never shied away.
Yeah,
So
they'll get from Schalke, Dortmund, Hoffenheim. They'll just
always, and it works out for them two ways. Not only it makes their team stronger, but it makes the direct rivals weak.
weaker. Yeah, and that's
Yes.
again that's what's happening with Harry Kane transfer, isn't it?
Oh,
So that's just the same Bayern Munich and Dortmund scenario right there.
yeah. So I mean, again, like City bought Sterling from Liverpool and Mahrez from Leicester, and it just keeps on going for them. So it's uh, I mean,
Yeah,
I
but then again, Bayern Munich have been, they have been, so they have contributed something to the game. I'm not being very biased here, but because they have also saved Dortmund from, a very very messy situation before as well. So you have to give them credit right there. So
yeah,
unlike other, and they were not in the Super League, right? They refused the Super League,
they refused. Yes.
right?
But yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing with Bayern also is that it's a very how should I put it, like a very fan oriented club as well.
Yeah,
And the thing with them is that it's something like, how should I put it, if they want someone, they'll get him. But before being like, they have to be like 100% sure about that person. So like
yeah,
if they wanted Sane, they waited for Sane also,
yeah,
right? Fine, if you have to wait 6 months, we'll wait for 6 months. But we want Sane, so we'll get Sane only.
yeah.
They
I've not
wanted
seen,
Lewandowski.
yeah, I've not seen a single failed transfer in Bayern Munich for quite some time now.
Oh yeah. I mean, as I said, if they want somebody, they get that person. Whether
Yeah,
it was Lewandowski, it was Götze, it was
Hummels,
Hummels, it was Neuer back in the day from
Neuer,
Schalke,
yeah, Schalke.
and it was Alexander Neubel right now again from Schalke. And I mean, the list can go on and on. I mean,
Exactly.
it,
So I think that's right. The difference between Bayern Munich and Barcelona. Your video is kind of
yeah,
lagging at the moment, Ishan. So
okay,
that's the difference between Bayern Munich and Barcelona, right? Because you have one at one of the ends you have a club that's spending ravishly and playing spending 100 million on random players at the same time who are either in form or who are considered world class by the media as well. And then you have Bayern Munich who are literally thinking it through and who know that the kind of image they have and they can attract world class players as well.
yeah,
They give that guarantee of one or two trophies a year every single time, right? And
yeah,
you obviously have that UCL advantage with playing for Bayern Munich. So you have two different clubs having two different philosophies, and one is doing a perfect job of signing players, spending money as well. They do spend money. It's not like that they don't. But if you, I think the perfect example would be Hummel's transfer when they signed him from Dortmund and later on sold him back to Dortmund. So that was
I mean, it's just that Bayern are ruthless in the window. Like I think not being able to renew Thiago was probably one of uh, the biggest failures, which I think in the transfer window for Bayern in a long, long time. I
yeah.
mean, I mean,
Kudos Liverpool.
no, kudos to Liverpool, of course, of course. I mean, what Klopp has created at Liverpool is unparalleled. And this another small thing which really helped Liverpool was that Thiago had won everything at Bayern, and he had given everything at Bayern already for like a good amount of time. So it was the right time for all the parties involved to actually, and embrace a new challenge, and you know, let's see what happens. I mean, and Thiago has been amazing for Liverpool. I'm really glad that Liverpool has a player like Thiago, like
Yeah,
freaking world class.
true. Definitely, I think we were all excited with Thiago signing, and now I think we can't wait for him to unleash this season finally after the horrible injury-prone season which we had last year.
Really, I swear. It's just waiting for Thiago to show his real self this season.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, again, I think there's a lot of lag at your end. All right. So I think we're gonna close this. It's been an hour now already, and obviously,
Yeah.
it's time. I think we should close the discussion with Messi again because we have spoken about Messi, we have spoken about Barcelona, we've spoken about La Liga, we've spoken about clubs. I think I was expecting some kind of other conversation, but since you said there is no one who can even touch PSG or Man City at the moment, given their
Yeah.
financial channels, it's kind of upsetting because I was like, for me to be really honest, I was hoping that you'll have PL or UEFA stepping in. You'll have some kind of club stepping in and saying, you know what, this is the end of it, because you've had that Frank Lampard's case as well, when Arsene Wenger objected that how is he being transferred to MLS and then he's coming on loan to, that was clear violation. Technically, it was a violation. On
Yeah,
paper, it wasn't. So that's how it was for Arsene Wenger when he and that was very right of him to point it out. Unfortunately, not a lot of managers apart from Klopp point it out these days. They are kind of busy with other things too. Really, I don't know what. So that's how it is for us, and I sincerely hope there's some kind of punishment for these clubs, because they are you talk about wages of Kevin De Bruyne, you talk about wages of um, say Neymar or even Messi, which he will getting at PSG. Just imagine a scenario when something like La Liga happens. Uh, Maybe the Premier League or the French league, they come out and say, you know what, this is the wage limit that you have to adhere to, because we also want the other clubs to compete. We also want the
yeah.
other clubs to have a fair say, and this cannot, and we want some competition so we get more audience as well. No, because I mean, when the pandemic happened, we saw, say, we saw the Bundesliga, right? We
Yeah,
tried to like it for maybe a couple of weeks. We just got bored, and we just like finally happy to see the Premier League back. That's how
yeah.
it was, and no one wants to see a league like that. So even when Manchester United were dominating they were dominating, unfortunately. So they were dominating the Premier League. You had Arsenal coming in, you have Chelsea coming in, you had Leeds coming in, you have Nottingham Forest, Newcastle. You have so many, these kind of clubs coming in and competing at maybe for just 1 or 2 seasons, but they were at the same time. Now it's Liverpool. So you have to understand that this is something that kind of grows football, because I've not seen City or PSG help any other club coming out of administration or something like that. They have not contributed anything to football apart from some really good views. That's it.
I mean, to be really honest, I think if if at all, like City or PSG were like that, they wouldn't be spending like that at all in the first place. They wouldn't create an ecosystem where you know it's just impossible to keep up with. And I think, I mean, the only way out probably could have been the Super League, because then you would have all these rich clubs just out there playing within themselves, and all the other players, all the other teams just competing within themselves. I mean, if you see from a very footballing ecosystem point of view, it would have made the present league more competitive, more better, because then all of a sudden, you have the real money, and like not just oil money, and just the real normal money for people, like not the oil kind of stupid money which people just spend whenever, whatever, however they want to. And then comes the manager's ability, the recruitment ability, etc. And then you can actually see the competitiveness increase that way. I mean, one of the examples I would like to give here is, I think almost a decade back or so, I remember when I used to watch F1, there was this championship which came. I think it was called the A1 Championship at that point. I don't remember probably. And I remember that time, all the cars had the same engine. It was just the driver's ability to drive that car. It was something on those lines. So it's something like that. Like, you set up a wage cap for each and every team. And then according to the revenue, they're allowed to spend more or not. So that actually allows a system wherein teams don't overspend. We don't have the likes of clubs getting demoted or going into liquidation, administration, and
True.
that is something which you don't want. I mean, as much as it's a financial mess, it's also an emotional mess for the people who support, for the people who work over there.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly. For local workers is also, that's very important, because that's a bigger picture, right? At the end of the day, the
yeah,
football clubs have been created by daily wage workers. That's their
yeah,
history. Every single football club, apart from
yeah.
a few who have just recently been created.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, if you see somebody like Bury got into administration, then it was dissolved, and
Yeah.
There were fans who have been supporting since like eons, and even though it's a small club, it's an emotional investment for them. It's an emotional attachment for them, and it's really hard on people when you take away something which gives them happiness, and
Yeah.
all because somebody's greed took over it, and he just doesn't feel that the club is important, the people associated with it are important. So yeah, I feel it's really important to introduce a wage cap somehow or the other, and introduce a revenue system wherein the wage cap would be probably adjusted by X% of the revenue which you make.
And also to check the inflow of wherever the revenue is coming from, because I think that's also very important, because
Oh,
like we talked
absolutely,
about how PSG and City are,
absolutely.
see, they don't have ticket sales, they don't have, I mean, they don't have that many sponsorship, because to be very honest, we see them tying up with influencers and celebrities and all that stuff, that's literally taking the money out, and the money isn't coming in. So you know that's one of the major issues there. So they don't have enough shirt sales, they don't have they have the infrastructure, yes, for sure, but they don't have even players selling off. Like Guardiola just said that he had 60 million of players selling in, but then again, what about the wages? If you have won the Premier League, you
Even
have won the Carabao Cup, then you're literally giving the peak wages to your
oh
players.
yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, Guardiola said that he has 60 million in players
Rubbish.
he's sold. He just has 34 million
Yeah,
from
that's,
all,
yeah,
all the
literally.
official numbers.
Yeah, I,
So
I think I
it's
think he just also joined in the that 10 12 odd million he got from Sancho's resale.
yeah, this is including Sancho's money. He has just sold.
34.
Yeah, yeah,
I
34. I think he
Okay, so
sold.
they have been like sharing lots of crap. I think 45 million was calculated from that
From
money. I don't
what
know.
from what I know, it's Enemcha which they sold,
Yeah,
Angelino which they
11
sold,
million.
yeah, and Sancho. These three are the only financial incomings they have had this season, from what I can recollect.
Okay.
So that amounts to somewhere around 34 or 35 million, not much, not 60. Even if it's 45, it's not 60. So it's as simple as that. And I think he's probably thinking that potentially he could raise 60 million with the sale of Bernardo or somebody else.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Again. So that's a hypothetical yes for him. So again, I mean, Fraudiola
yeah,
doing Fraudiola things. So
but but bro, it doesn't matter. He's gonna go and buy Kane for another 100 million.
yes, it certainly looks like it, right?
Yeah,
With the Tottenham's recent
yeah.
spending, I think they're gonna definitely. That's unfortunately that's gonna happen, and
Okay, I think Daniel Levy is another FSG kind of owner of
he's
the
gonna,
club.
if Kane is going, he's gonna go in the very last day of the window. So that's his
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
So he's
He's
already
not gonna leave the competitor just like that.
no, no, he's not. He's not. He always at least makes sure that his side is competitive. So
Yeah.
he's already signed Romero, and I mean he's looking for another centre back. So
Yeah, and
let
he's also one of the also one of the kind of owners who would want to his opponent to squeal for that one signing that he doesn't want to let go. Be it
oh yeah,
Ericsson, be it
oh
Bale, be it
yeah,
Harry Kane. That's
oh
how he
yeah.
wants it.
And you know what the funny thing about Levy is that any other owner, if say for example, even if when it was Southampton and Liverpool for Van Dijk, Southampton reported Liverpool to the
To
FA
FA, yeah,
for the wrongful contact with Van Dijk, and rightly Liverpool
apologize.
apologized for it. Levy doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, you talk to him. He's my player. Now, because you have spoken to him without my approval, I'm bumping 15 million in his fee. Okay,
Yeah,
that's the fee which you have to pay now.
yeah,
If he was 100 million, now he's 115 million. Pay up. That's it. Otherwise, I'll go to the FA and say whatever I want to about you guys.
yeah.
So Levy is twisted in the head like that. I mean, and
So we saw in the
and
documentary, right? The kind of dominance he has and the kind of
yeah,
decisions he takes.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that kind of dominance has kind of helped Tottenham financially a lot,
Yeah,
because their wage bill is very, very, very much in control. Although his plans of financially going the next step were halted by the pandemic, also because that he had planned a lot of NFL games. He had planned a lot of boxing matches and etc. stuff. In order to lease the whole stadium, and none of that happened has happened in the past 1.5 years. So
Mm.
all that revenue which he forecasted while making the new stadium has all gone down. So
Yeah,
well, of course, it's going to come back pretty soon, but then, that 1.5 year gap in which you could have made more money has gone away. So, which is kind of good speaking from a Liverpool supporters' perspective, because that gives them less money to spend. But yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. It
the
does.
money, the money is coming for Tottenham for sure. The money is definitely coming in.
That's true. I certainly hope so because they have been one of the very consistent teams without spending lavishly, and they. I mean, I do hope them at the very best, and I think for anyone who has just joined us can also see our Tottenham discussion with India Spurs. So it's also there on our website, on our YouTube channel, and some really interesting points there about Danny Levy, which also surprised me, to be really honest with you, because I just had a different impression of that guy. Right.
Yeah.
So we have discussed PSG, Man City, Barcelona, Madrid, Bayern Munich, and now even Tottenham Hotspur, or for an exceptional case, basically, that who are not spending so much, and then at the end of the day, they are still striving forward.
Yeah,
So
sorry to cut you over here,
yeah,
but I'll just bump in over here with one thing. And I just want to say that if United don't win anything in the next coming 2 years, they're going to be in a very, very, very similar trouble because their debts are rising. The amount of dividends the Glazers are taking back home is insane.
yeah,
And, you
that's
know, the revenues are not, you know, I mean, I don't know whether they're going to rise any further because of the whole worldwide situation right now. But yeah, if they don't deliver on the pitch and they don't like go deeper into the Champions League and all that stuff, it's going to be really troublesome for them because it's just that the money they're giving out for players and then the wages, like they're paying 350,000 to De Gea, who's just sitting on the bench.
so
Then
they have good couple of signings made. Like obviously Sancho coming in, the guy will impact. But then again, for the better of us, they still have Ole. So so
yeah,
I think,
again,
do you think that this is a season that he'll get sacked by December, and they'll finally come up with a pro manager?
um, I think he won't be sacked. I don't think he'll be sacked.
Okay.
I feel that the kind of dressing room ethos he has created
Yeah.
is pretty good. Very, very good culture inside the dressing room, in my opinion.
Okay.
Although what will hurt them is their over reliance on Bruno. But again, that being said, with Sancho now there, they have another electric player. I mean, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. Like, it's just that how good he takes the step up from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, how well he, uh, steps up as well. So that's just gonna be, one tough thing for him. But if just in case Sancho does not deliver, then United is in trouble because from what I think, Rashford is not gonna start the season because of his back surgery
Yeah.
or shoulder surgery. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the back, and it's gonna be a lot dependence on Bruno again.
Hmm.
And again, Bruno has been playing non-stop for the past one
One
and
and
a
a half
half years
years.
since he has
Yeah.
come to United. So again, over reliance, over being overplayed, and if
Yeah.
he gets injured, which looks highly likely, uh, because of the amount of the volume of games and the minutes which he's playing on in those games. And to be really honest, Bruno is not one of those players who who doesn't run. He runs a lot. He puts a lot of effort. So again, the sprint, the amount of fatigue which it causes on the muscles on a longer period of time. Again, all of that comes into perspective.
So even if Bruno gets injured, the referees will come to the rescue anyway. So
Referees have been. I mean, this might sound controversial, but I mean, since
no,
I have
it's not
started.
controversial. I think it's common sense for anyone who watches the game. They know when 90% of the referees in a league come from Manchester, then what the hell
Oh
do you
yeah.
expect?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what I was gonna say was that since I started watching football back in 2003, four, I think, uh, since then I have seen so many referees siding with United. It, I mean, after a point of time, it's not even funny. Like, there's a
Yeah,
reason
it's
why
not.
stoppage time got called Fergie time. There's a reason behind it, because the
He
stoppage
used
time
to
would happen.
dominate them, right? He used to dominate the referees, and they were like,
Bro,
they used to
bro,
give him a free pass.
dominate is an underestimation. He used to bully the referees. He used to bully the referees. He would go up to them and speak whatever he want to. And I think why referees also did not go mad at him was also because, man, you're speaking to a person who's been knighted by the queen, which
Yeah,
is like a very, very, very big thing
yeah,
in
yeah.
in the UK. And you just can't talk back to him. I mean, purely out of the respect and the kind of stature he has because of that knighthood, and also because the kind of uh, the way he had turned the whole club around, United, and United
Yeah,
had not won a
yeah,
trophy.
that was their dominance era, not only on the pitch, which wasn't too much, but that was also about the way they marketed themselves, Manchester
Yeah,
United. So that's one of the reasons that things went towards them. So this is
yeah,
that again is kind of paying back with signings like Paul Pogba and
yeah,
taking on Alexis Sanchez, Di Maria, for granted. So
yeah,
everything is paying. I think, and you're right, because Manchester United doesn't have oil money right at the moment.
yeah.
So if City and PSG can somehow break it off and they can survive in case if any kind of wage restrictions come in, United won't be able to survive that. They'll literally find around 5 to 7 of their players leaving the club. That's how it's gonna be.
Yeah,
There's gonna be Barcelona all over again for them.
yeah. I mean, the only thing which is keeping United going afloat right now is their insane
Relaxation.
in their no, no their insane commercial deals. I mean, it's just amazing how good their commercial team is. Like, whether it's getting the kit deals, whether it's the sponsor, the kit sponsors which they've got. Like, their team viewer deal is immense. It's a great deal for United, and even the small sponsors which they keep getting every now and then. It's brilliant. I mean, their commercial side is great. And again, like, coming back to Barcelona, and I mean, Barcelona gets lot of revenue, but I think what Barca missed out was the Asian market. I think they should have gotten more
Yeah.
Asia-based sponsors, which United have
Oh,
a lot.
United went all out with the Asian market. I think that's one of the
Yeah,
reasons that India really has so many of United players. I think
yeah,
Barcelona
absolutely,
craze started with Messi. I think post 2008 2009, I guess.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is that people don't realize that how important the Asian market is as well, apart from just the American and the North American market. And I mean, it's just very bizarre that Barca never really grab hold of the Asian market, commercially speaking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Right. So I think that sums up our discussion, because
Yeah,
we have discussed every single thing from the management to the finances to how clubs are run. In fact, as well, different clubs are run actually, because
yeah,
there was see, this topic is like so complicated that
yeah,
you have so many different modules, right, in this particular one chapter of running the club's finances, the transfer. There's so many things that goes on, right. Now we also discussed a lot of clubs that are in danger or will be in danger in the next couple of seasons maybe, and clubs who may get out of it, unfortunately. But I sincerely hope that at the end of the day football wins. I think that's something that I can just hope for,
yeah,
because irrespective of whatever happens, it's the fans who need to be benefited from these kind of clubs and these kind of moments that kind of insult the game and legends like Lionel Messi. And it's it's a shameful moment for all of us to see him go. I think that's I mean, thankfully he's not retiring at the moment. So like, I'm not. So we're not that upset at the moment. All of us are gonna be upset when Lionel Messi retires, but I sincerely hope that it won't be the way it just happened with Barcelona. And
Yeah,
I sincerely hope he gets his goodbye, maybe at Camp Nou. I don't mind that at all. Not at PSG for sure. Maybe he comes on for a year, maybe, or somehow he
actually,
comes in for a year. Comes back to Barcelona, maybe for a one last season. Let's see what happens.
maybe, I don't know. I mean, this kind of reminds me of a discussion I had with another Liverpool fan, Shivangi. This was a year back or so, and I mean, she said that Barcelona is going to be the next AC Milan, and this was a prophetic kind of a thing which she said last year when Barca were doing pretty decent, and she was like, and I was like talking to her with respect to the fact that how Barca have kind of lost their charm, and it's like how a big behemoth has kind of falling right now, and she's like, it's okay, this is gonna be the next AC Milan, who cares? And quite literally that's what's happening. I
Yeah,
mean, whether
the
you want to
signs were
talk
there.
about,
The signs are all over there.
I mean, with respect to the players departing, with respect to the finances, it's just looking like Barca has become the next AC Milan. Whether they'll be able to get back up or not, I mean, that time is going to tell us. But yeah, I mean, very prophetic from Shivangi.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, obviously not a lot of us could have seen that coming, but it just happened. Last year we were talking about Messi not the Suarez thing happened, and Messi not happy with the board, the directors, and everyone. But this thing, the things just change around. The topics are completely different that we're talking about right now. We're
Yeah,
talking about finances, we're talking about wages, we're talking about restrictions. That's
yeah,
just how football changes, and that's something that I love in the Premier League as well. Although we are among the top six clubs who have the highest wage bills in Europe,
oh yeah,
but at the same time, I do expect that our wage bill anyways are based on more bonuses than the basic package, so
yeah,
we are kind of safe there at the same time. But I sincerely hope that some kind of restrictions are coming in, because it will help the competition. It will help football. It will help fans get a lot more and exciting games.
yeah. Absolutely, I totally agree with
Yeah. All right. So with that thought, I'll just leave you guys, whosoever is left watching.
you.
Right, guys. So please follow us on Cop Fusion, and Ishan is also there on Twitter. Ishan, your
Yeah.
handle, please.
My handle is Ishan Kokilu, so that's ESHANKOKILOO.
I just posted his name. Just add the rate
Yeah,
him and just follow him on Twitter, please. And we'll be back after the next preseason game. That's tomorrow. We'll discuss about preseason. Talk about Liverpool's new season hopes, and hopefully it's not going to be the same. Like, I sincerely hope Robbo is fit. I just hope it's not
yeah,
more than a couple
absolutely.
of weeks. Whatever happened, we're going to talk about Harvey Elliott. We're going to talk about a lot of other things. We're going to talk about signings. Yes, we're going to talk about signings and FSG as well. That topic never ends. So let's hope for the best. All right, see you guys, and thank you so much, Ishan, for joining in.
Any day, any day. Thank you so much for having me. See you guys. Good night.